Hello, and welcome back to Idjit's Gaming and our guided playthrough of Satisfactory. Today, we got a big thing to build. And we built a couple good-sized things before, but we're going to build something big today. And I even have a place in mind for it. We're going to go down to what I call Coal Lake. If you're not familiar with what I call Coal Lake, this, right here. The reason I call this Coal Lake is there are 4 coal nodes right here. There's a big source of water. I kind of look at it as that is the default place a lot of people start their coal generators when they're playing here in the green fields, because you got coal, you got water, you got a lot of coal, you got a lot of water. So it just makes sense to put a coal-powered generator down there, or, a lot. And we're going to just mosey here through the woods, go past the big paleberry patch. I mean, it's a decent-sized paleberry patch. I think there might be some bigger ones elsewhere, but we're also going to take advantage of the fact I have unlocked the zip line. This handy-dandy little portable thing here that I just completely didn't use. Oops! It happens. And we're going to go for a swim, because I'm too lazy to walk down here. Yep. The nice thing is, as long as you land in water that is sufficiently deep, if you go into the actual swimming animation when you hit the water, you don't really take fall damage. So, hey, it makes it a lot better. And the reason I'm down here is not... Let me put that away. I mean, we don't have a whole lot of power, so we might be having to build another power plant, but that's fine. We have Mark II miners now. Mark II miners come in really handy. I didn't actually realize how little power we had on this playthrough. It's been a hot minute. I've been busy. I've been working on other things. Been working on a massive stream project. And it's been taking up a lot of my time. I do need to get my beat 'em stick out. That's not the beat 'em stick. That's the beat 'em stick. Why do I need the beat 'em stick? Because there's wildlife over here. Where we want to go is here. This small little, I don't know what you'd call it. There's a waterfall here. There's a waterfall here. You got a nice little calm spring here, stream. And we want to just come right over here. And we got to take out some piggies. Oh, try to take out some piggies. Come here. Come here. Come here. Come on. Hey, pushed me in the water. I don't want to get wet. I don't want to go swimming, stupid pig. Here, you go swimming. You'll be fine. Alright, piggies are gone. We got a little bit more bacon over here, which, kill some pork, get some bacon. I believe there's also a spitter that lives up here. I'm gonna walk around a little bit, see if I can't figure out where in the world he is, and Alright, the reason we're here is this is a pure iron node, aka the best iron node you can get in the game. And I'm going to do a little deforestation, and then we'll be back. Okay, and that's all been cleared out. We got a nice little clean area here. I just put down a little personal storage bin, that way I can keep all the leaves and wood and stuff that I collected. And the entire reason my chainsaw was being weird and wasn't doing actual area mode was because I didn't have enough space in my inventory to pick up both leaves and wood. Once I cleared a little bit of space, it started behaving itself just fine. We need a pretty good size foundation for this, so I'm just going to start here, and I'm going to go that way. And this is probably going to be a floating foundation. I don't really care right now, as long as I'm not interacting with the nodes that I need, the iron and copper there. I'm all good. And like I've said before, we can go through and put down some walls or whatever on the outside of these to make them look like they're not floating. But for right now, it doesn't matter. Just need to get it looking or don't even need to care about how much what it looks like. Just need to get it done so we can actually start up with the build. And for what I've done in my other save, I need about 11 by 15. So this is going to be a large foundation. And I'm just going to go ahead and zoop this out over here. I need to count, see how many we have. And there's an easy way in this game to count. Just press your deconstruct button, which on PC defaults to F, and trace a line. We're at 6, so not enough. 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. I'm going to go ahead and build this. We're not going to power it on because I honestly don't think we have enough power at the moment. That's easily solved by just upgrading the 2 coal miners I have that are feeding this small coal plant that you see right here to Mark IIs and upgrading the belt. And then either overclocking these 8 coal power plants to 200% and the water extractors 200%, or just putting down twice as many, putting out another 8 coal power plants and another 3 water extractors to feed it. Either one will literally double your power output because you're doubling your generation. We need to come over here, and I'm doing this pretty tamely. I'm trying not to use too many Mark IIs because they're a little expensive. Can I get... No. Nope. And then I'm going to put down a Mark II miner on the iron node. The iron node is the only one that's the real limiter in this build. I'm going to try, again, to put down a foundation here and see if I can get a miner to fit there right next to it. It says it's clipping, but it doesn't really look like it's clipping, and that's all I care about. From what I see, that is right beside that. That is absolutely perfect. I'm happy with that. Okay. So it's a little bit bigger than it needs to be, but it's always better to make your foundation bigger than it needs to be rather than too small. Because if it's bigger than what you need, you can just get rid of some of the foundations. Get rid of that piggy. I wanted to come play with me. I don't want to play today, Junior. Okay, we're also going to put our Nobelisk detonator back on our hotbar because I'm going to show you something that's going to come in handy a little later. I've shown you that Nobelisk can be used to blow up creatures. I've shown you that it can be used to get rid of the fart flowers and the stink rocks. Ooh, there's a critter. Gotta kill the critter first. Alright, critter's dead. You can also use it to get rid of these. You know what? Come here. I got a present for you. Let's give him 2 presents. He looks like he needs some. Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. The fireballs that those things throw or spit can detonate an obelisk. But Nobelisk gets rid of that big rock that sits on top of this coal node, so it's now an accessible coal node. You could put a portable miner down on the outskirt of it, but you couldn't put an actual miner down on it, which we need to do. And we're going to point it kind of towards our factory. It's only a Mark I miner because it's... no, I think I need a Mark II. Yeah, I need a Mark II. Yep. I don't have enough portable miners. That's not a problem. I didn't come prepared. Wow, didn't see that one coming? Oh, well, we can just throw down a quick crafting bench, or equipment workshop in this case, and knock out another portable miner. And it's still saying I don't have enough. But that's easily solved by just picking up the miner and putting down a new one. The reason it needs to be a portable miner is because I need about 90 coal a minute. And I'm going to run a belt from where I'm currently at all the way over to where I just deforested, it's a little bit of a long belt, but it's fine. It's fine. If you don't like the trees being in your way, cut them down. I'm not a big fan of my belts clipping through the ground, so I'm going to try to make sure that it's not. But that's just a me thing. You don't have to worry about that. It's just a personal preference. I don't like my belts clipping through the ground. It's not a real big deal. It's something that irks me. I'm sure we all have our little things like that. We have our little idiosyncrasies, our little pet peeves. And we got coal. Cool. We need just a tiny little trickle of copper. And I do mean tiny trickle. I did bring some steel beams with me so I could make a Mark III belt. Because I want a Mark III belt coming off that miner. I'm going to run that directly into a splitter. And I'm going to try to make this as close as I can. Boop. And I did not put the belt down, take the belt up because I made a mistake. I did that so I kind of got an idea of where I wanted the belt. So now after that, we need 3 foundries. So the whole reason we brought coal up here is we're making steel again. We're going to put them to the left of that splitter. We also need a few... Oh yeah, I can't do those jumps. We need a few smelters. And by a few, I mean we need 5. 2, 3, 4, and 5. And this is also reminding me that I could easily move this quite a bit that way. So we're just going to move one of those boundaries over here. Don't be afraid to, move things and adjust how you want to build it if you still have room. Like I still have plenty of room there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. We're going to get rid of those again. We're going to get rid of that other foundry. The more I have over here, the better I feel like I have space. So that's 2, 3, 4, and 5. And that gets me pretty close to the edge. That makes me happy. And honestly, if I would have moved this foundry so that I was feeding in this hole instead of that hole, it probably would have filled the entire foundation. I'm going to put down one more smelter here to the left of the foundries. This is for coal. Or not coal. This is for copper. Yeah, words. Come over here, jump on my belt because I can't jump that high yet. Because I don't have the blade runners. I don't have the hover pack. I don't have the jet pack. Once you get to later things like that, comes in really handy. Yeah, so we got all our splitters down. Every one of these is only going to take 60 or 30 or less than 60. It's 30 ore. So we're just going to put a Mark I belt on each of these. Even the foundries are going to take less than 60. And that one doesn't get any. That one's not good enough. The grand total, I'm going to have 240 iron ore coming up here. So I'm just going to go ahead and slap down a Mark III belt this whole central line. Not because I need a Mark III belt down the entire thing. Once I pull off 120, I can switch down to a Mark II. Because remember, 240 up, Mark II belt is capable of 120, but I'm too lazy to do the math. I'll be dead honest. I'm too lazy to do the math. Yeah, we're going to put this in place. Lock it with H. tab up twice, put the page up, and over until I get that line. Yay! You do the same thing here. Lock it, raise it, and move it. And one more time, because we have 3 foundries. Raise up, over, and that allows me to put down my lifts. Yay, lifty lifts. Okay, so those have now all been fed. We can put down another. We're going to put a lift to feed that, but we're not going to put it down right there. We're going to come out a little ways. We're going to grab our belt. We'll switch over to either curve or default and get it over here on the very edge, because my coal belt down here is on the very edge. Now that I have that, we can button that up. We can bring this straight out to the edge. Put a conveyor lift. Jump down here. Turn it to face the copper miner and connect the copper miner. Easy, right? So, of course, this smelter will be dialed in for copper. And it's going to be, we're going to do a lot of underclocking on this one, because the factory I'm building is meant to be a complete and total phase 2 factory. Like, this is going to make everything you need to make everything that you require to complete phase 2 for the space elevator. We're going to make the smart plating, we're going to make the versatile frameworks, and we're going to make the automated wiring all right here. And not only are we going to make them all, we're going to make them in such a way that we can actually bring the space elevator down here, hook this factory up to it, and when it's going to take about 5 hours to complete, but it will complete all 3 items on the space elevator at the same time. You know, that sounds lovely to me. I don't have to sit there and worry about moving this and that. I don't have to worry about, oh, I've got too many smart platings and not enough versatile frameworks, or I don't have the automated wiring. We're going to do all of it together in one big factory and just call it done. Because I'm lazy, and I'll own every bit of that. And I don't know why I'm back here. We're going to come back here behind the smelters. We're going to switch over to a conveyor merger. We're going to make sure we are pointing in the right direction. We're going to make sure we're not inside that machine. And I always skip the very first one in a series because I can just belt. I don't need anything merged right there. I just run a belt like that. And now that's all hooked up, right? Yeah. You will notice I underclocked the last one to 70%. Because this is all exactly dialed in so that I know exactly how much I have. And I am going to do this a little bit weird. A lot of people would just put a belt here, make sure this merger is pointing that way, and save a little bit of space. I'm doing it this way with this loop on the outside because this is my eyeball loop. What do I mean by an eyeball loop? It is literally just a spot that I can look at any time, and as long as I see my iron ingots moving and grooving, I know things are working. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. That is not at all the amount I need. I need so many more constructors. If you look on the right-hand side of the screen, you will see my to-do list. My to-do list started this episode with 19 constructors. And that's all for this factory. We're going to come in here and we're going to select iron rods. We need 6 of these, and they all need to be dialed into 13. Now, you easily could, instead of dialing them all into 13, you could leave most of them at 15 and just dial in the very last one to hit your target. I don't like doing that a lot of times. The smelters, that's exactly what I did. 4 of them are running at 100%. The last one's running at 70. That dials me in. But I don't want to do it with the iron rods solely because, well, I just don't want to. And you can't make me. Since I don't have the blade runners, I can't make the big jumps, so we're just put a belt down real quick, and there we go. Okay, and that is actually the last one in this series. I have to check my notes from time to time. Let me get my count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I need 6 constructors for iron rods. The other 3 go to iron plates. But because I copied the iron rod one, oh, it wants to be a pain in the butt. We're going to set these to 70. And you can adjust these with either the parts per minute or the clock speed. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't change how you're doing it. It's just whichever number is easier for you to remember that you need. Sometimes you need some weird number like 242.709134326 hike. And sometimes you need 42. If you only need something like 42, why bother with the really weird percentage? Do whatever number is easier for you. This is all going to be Mark II belts. Probably needs to be Mark IIIs, but honestly, I didn't write that one down. So we got 30, so 30, 60, 90, 120 plus. So yeah, we're on Mark IIIs. Now we'll just bounce around. Honestly, I'll try not to do too much bouncing. That's really, really hard to watch. Okay, that's done. Yay! We need 3 more constructors. You may have thought that, this foundation was a little bit big, but it's really not. It just kind of seems that way. Grab a merger from down there. I do not need to put a merger on that first one, as I already explained. I just need to put a merger on these 2. And I might actually move that smelter. Yeah, we'll get rid of that. There's a lot of times where you have an idea in your head of how you want your factory to look, and then you start building it and you realize that's not going to work. So 45, 90. Yep, we're on a Mark II belt. Then don't beat yourself up about the fact that, your grand plan isn't working the way you thought it would. It happens. We're not perfect. None of us are. Make mistakes. Enjoy the mistakes. Or at least don't complain about them too much. Alright. Now these will be set to steel beam. And I need 2 of them running at 80%. And the third one is kind of pathetic. By kind of pathetic, I mean it is literally going to run at 6% clock speed. I need 1.2 steel rods every single minute. That's sad. We'll grab a smelter. And I want to get it kind of close to that belt. We'll set this back to copper, and we'll set it back to the 32% speed I need. The only reason I moved it is that way when its belt comes out, it's not running straight into this other belt. Makes sense? Good. Okay, so we got iron rods. We got iron plates. And for anybody new to this series, one of the rules I have is I am not allowed to use alternate recipes. And the reason for that is actually very simple. If I go and do a whole lot of hard drive hunting, obviously as a more experienced player, I'm going to have an easier time getting said hard drives because I've got the hours in the game. I at least kind of sort of know what I'm doing. This playthrough is very much meant for people who may not have as many hours in the game. People who are struggling, people who just are looking for tips or advice or builds or anything. So we're just not going to use alternate recipes for a while. The other major reason is alternate recipes are luck-based. And whereas I might get extraordinarily lucky and instantly pull the iron wire recipe or the iron pipe recipe or any one of another 100 good recipes, probably not actually 100, probably more like 30 or 40, you might not. You might go through 10 hard drives before you get a really good recipe. And I don't want to deal with feeling like you guys can't progress as fast because you couldn't get the recipes I got. I don't think that's fair. So we're just not going to do alternate recipes for a while. We're going to tackle them. We're going to discuss them and all that in a very future episode when we got a little bit more exploration options. When I can get you around the map safely. And right now I'm setting up the next series of constructors that I need. Obviously, if iron rods are feeding into them, we all know full well what that's going to be. They're going to be screws. Everybody's favorite freaking thing. We're going to set these to 92%. I'm going to run around to the back just because it's a little easier. There's nothing in my way back there. And I'm just going to copy and paste the settings. Because that just gets them all set up exactly the way I want them, and I don't have to worry about anything. Yay! Makes me happy. Should make you happy too. And that's what this is all about. Making you smile, making you happy, making you feel like you learned something, or enjoyed yourself, or were entertained. As I can't figure out how to put a thing where it's supposed to be, but that happens all the time. Now, obviously, before I started this build, I went and stockpiled on stuff. My inventory was full of random stuff. There's a lot of stuff that I might need for this build. Like, I brought a lot of reinforced iron plates. I bought a lot of steel beams, iron plates, rods, cement, a lot of stuff. So that's my screws. I got 2 more constructors I need to make, but they're a little ways down the road. And we got, I think it's 3 that make iron plates, and we're just going to merge those 3 into one merger. We're not going to do the manifold merger. And then we're just going to have these butt right up against each other. You do still have to put a belt down between them. They don't actually mate, so bear that in mind. And then we need to start working on assemblers. Why do we need assemblers? Because we need a lot of assemblers. As you see on my to-do list, I only have 2 more constructors to put down. Unfortunately, we got 9 assemblers for this build. And an easy way to make sure that you have the spacing you need for a project like this would be to I need to run a belt through here. So I'm just going to put a conveyor pole down, and I need to be able to have a elevator or a conveyor lift between here and there. So you can just put down a conveyor lift and put down a splitter or a merger, either one. They're the exact same size, and you just put it down right beside it. And it doesn't have to be out here at the end of this little accordion. It can be right butted up against there, and that tells you you've got the space you need. And we're just going to triple stack those real quick. It's kind of the fastest way to go about that. And you'll notice that I kind of sort of messed up, but I didn't. Nudge that into place, lock it in, turn it. Depending on if you start away from your lift or on your lift will depend on how far out it gets pushed. As you see, now this moves through in the blue phase and I don't have to worry about anything. And we got the proper split distance, so I put it in the wrong spot. That happens. Which is easily fixed. Just put it on top, nudge it into place. And you can hear a lift when it clicks into place. So as long as you hear that click, you know you're in the right spot. And again, this way, you got the big accordion on the top. If you start at the assembler, you get the big accordion down at the bottom. It doesn't matter. You don't need that big accordion on both sides. Some people choose to do so. I choose not to. We got just barely enough room here to bring this out in the default setting. Default will give you a slightly sharper turn than straight build mode. We're just going to put this. I'm going to try to line it up to the one above it. Make sure the entrance is on this side. And boop that in there. And now the leftover iron rods from this system can feed into these guys. We need a couple of these making reinforced iron plates, which do not take the iron rods. That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. I actually have that planned out. Kinda. Ah, yeah, that's how I did it. I built this off of this. And now that I've already got that lift in place, I have my distance. So we'll just put that there. We'll put this down here. Like I said, your mistakes are going to happen. Don't feel bad about them. Okay, so we need 3 for reinforced iron plates, which takes screws. And what? Go where I want you to go. There. And we'll just button this up. Boop, boop, and boop. Easy mode, right? Go ahead and put a lift here. That just gets me my spacing. Bear splitter. Nudge it up into spot. Now make sure it's pointing the right direction first. Nudge it up into spot. Get rid of the lift, because for some reason the lift doesn't reconnect, so you will have to do that. I don't know why. It's just part of the game. You get used to it after a while. One thing you can do to make this a little easier on yourself is start there, nudge it down twice, and then move it over. Or you can start at the bottom and do the same thing. Nudge it up twice and move it over. We got that, and we already got that one over there, so we just put a belt between them. And hey, we got our reinforced iron plates. They're fed. And the setting for this is 70%. 3.5 per minute. So, like I said, you could do 70%. You could do 3.5. It doesn't matter which one you do. Need another assembler. And this one will be for rotors. That is going to take the iron rods. It's also going to take more screws, which is why it's right here. I'm also noticing that I put that assembler down backwards, which happens way too often. Just like putting it in the wrong spot happens way too often. And I know I easily could go through and cut out a lot of that stuff. I don't want to. I want people to see that, mistakes are going to happen. And I'm just going to turn this way. I'm come down here, get my iron rods. We'll nudge this into place. I believe is right here. Turn it around, flip the direction. Now we can grab that belt, stick it into that, grab that, and run it down there. And easy peasy, just like that. We brought the iron rods down behind all that stuff. Still got room for the mergers for the iron, or the steel. Yeah, steel. And I also have assemblers for other things. Let me just check to see what those actually cost. All right. Yeah, that's it for all the screws. So we're going to take a merger. And we're going to point it out that way. So we got the steel pipe here. It's actually going to sneak around and just go out that way. And we're actually going to turn that merger because now that I look at things, it's not where I want it. Speaking not where I want it. Because I can easily snake that beside there. I can go over to curve and I can move it. I can go to default. I can move it. Whatever. We can make that work. So we have rotors. We have oh, okay. That is not supposed to be that. That's supposed to be rotors. Iron rods and screws. And the rotor recipe is supposed to be at 100%. We're supposed to get 4 rotors per minute. We need a little bit of space here. Let me lock this in place. And that should be enough room to get a belt through. I think I can get it through there, but it's going to be snug. Yeah, we're going to move that over one more. Like I said, don't be afraid to make mistakes. Don't be afraid to pick the thing up and rebuild it. It's going to happen. It's not the end of the world. I promise. I promise you it's not the end of the world. Because I actually think I need to get 2 belts through here. So let's just move that again. Again, not hurting anything by just picking it up and moving it. And then these, we got reinforced. We got 3. I don't know. I'm not supposed to have 3 making. Oh, did I make it? I think I made a boo-boo. I think I made a boo-boo. Yeah, I definitely made a boo-boo. Yep, made a boo-boo. It happens. Like I said, it's fine. It's not that big of a deal. It's a boo-boo. Switch the direction on that. Bring it over here. Boop. And boop. Basically, I just made one too many constructors. Or assemblers. This one is supposed to be rotors at 100%. So I have 2 for reinforced iron plate running at 70%, 1 for rotors running at 100%, being fed screws from 3 of them, and then iron rods from the last one. So all this is actually a mistake. It's a happy little accident, as some famous painter guy used to say. We'll take... God bless it. There's even a whole thing in this game about making sure to help you line up your belts, and I always still make boo-boos. It happens. Yeah, it may happen to me more often than it happens to you. Well, it may happen to you more often than it happens to me. It still happens. Don't get discouraged about it. So next, we need 2 assemblers making smart plating. Smart plating takes the 2 items that we just made. So all those rotors we just made, all those reinforced iron plates, they all just come here and go into 2 of these running at 100% making smart plating, which we're set. Cool. I seriously put that down the wrong spot. Again. Player is in the way. No, I don't want it there. I'll put that there and move up by 2 and over till I see the line and I know I'm in the right spot. Do the same kind of sort of tricky. So we can bring that belt up to this lift, that lift over to that. This right here over there. Lift from that to that, lift from that to that, and realize that's not facing the right direction because I didn't hear the click. Okay. So the rotors and reinforced iron plates that we just made are now making smart plating. You know, one of the things we need to complete this whole phase. We also need versatile frameworks. Okay, well, looking at versatile frameworks, it's modular frames and steel beams. Okay, well, how do we make modular frames? I don't know why I just deconstructed that. Modular frames are made with reinforced iron plates and iron rods. So we just take this. We already have reinforced iron plates right here. We just button that over, button this over, and boom. And there's all my reinforced iron plates. Also realize that this right here is not going to work because I need this to be a splitter. We'll just nudge this up into place, move it over. Boop. Grab a lift, put it down. Realize it's not pointing in the right spot. That happens. It's okay. It's not the end of the world. That will actually help us get this in the right spot. A little bit better. And obviously the lift is not facing the right direction. I'm aware of that. That's fine. Fine. Bear in mind that there is a gap there, so. Now we come down here and we do roughly the same thing we had done over there. Or we just bring the belt down like this. It doesn't really matter. We can bring the belt all the way up like that and have that lift. We can also just put the lift in and run it down like that. And boom, that's done. We got modular frames. Yay! And now for the versatile frameworks, we just take those modular frames, feed them straight into an assembler, versatile frameworks. It also takes steel beams. And this, the modular frames needs to run at 100%, so that's fine. That's perfect. That's what we want right there. The versatile framework, I only want to run at 80%, which takes us down to needing 2 modular frames. This makes 2 modular frames. So we're going to bring this out. We're going to switch over to default mode just to be able to bring it over a little bit. Bring it down. Switch back to straight mode. Switch back to default mode. You find that you've changed between modes from time to time. Mainly because I'm trying to make this nice and tight. Trying to give as much space as I can while still keeping everything snug as a bug in a rug. And all of my steel beams that I'm making go to make those versatile frameworks. That's done. We just button this up to that, this over to that. And that's my smart plating. Smart plating is done. Versatile frameworks are done. We're making 4 of each per minute. Now we get to do the slightly more complicated one. Slightly. Just slightly. Go grab a constructor. We're going to turn it around backwards in comparison to how we've been working. I want to make sure I leave myself enough room here, which that should be fine. Come from the smelter over to the constructor, and we're going to set this to wire. Now we're going to set this down quite a ways. It's going to run at 64%. So not too bad. Now, the only drawback is I'm really hoping I left myself enough room here. Grab me an assembler. I don't think I left myself enough room. But that's fine. That's fine. That's fine. We'll make it work. It's the name of the game, right? Make it work. Yeah, I can make that work. No worst case, we'll just move the coal belt. Because we could just do... We just move this over there, and we just move the entire coal belt. Right? It's not in the way. Nothing's in the way. It's all just fine. Why was that yellow? There we go. Run this over. Now this one does need to be a splitter. This assembler here is going to make stators. And it's going to be underclocked a lot. To 8%. Oh yeah, see I got plenty of room here. Here I was worried about room. I got plenty of room. The only big drawback is I need to be able to get the steel pipes from here over to there. So we're just going to do a little bridge. Just going to do a little bitty baby bridge. That way I can bring these out. Because I need these. And I'm already out of iron plates, so I'll be back momentarily while I go get more. Okay, now, I mean, you guys honestly didn't expect me to go an entire episode without running out of something, right? That never happens around here. Okay, we're going to put this assembler backwards. No, we're not. No, we're not. We got something else we got to do first. We're going to take this, and we're going to stick this guy kind kind of sort of over here, out a little ways. This is going to be a little funky. This one is going to make cable. Now we're going to nudge that a little bit. We're going to bring the cable over to there, and we're going to bring this belt over this way. We're going to snug it into that, and we're going to make automated wiring, because it takes stator and cable. And this one's going to be underclocked to 16%. The cable is going to be underclocked to make 8 parts per minute. 26.6667. Yeah, 8 parts per minute. It's a lot easier to type in. We're bring this belt over this way. We're gonna run it down the edge here. Also realize that I can get that and connect it to there. Switch it over to Mark II. Turn it around that way. Grab the belt and plug it right in. Yay! Also went through and did the math, and I've got 600 megawatts of power. This factory consumes 200 or so. So we're going to see if the power can actually handle it. We already have power wires down here because well, we have miners down here. We have a power plant down here. So I'm going to slide jump over here. Realize I don't have squat for cable. So hopefully I ain't got nearly enough cable for this, so I'm going to take another small hiatus to go get more. That's fine. That's fine. You guys won't see anything because magic of video editing. If you're wondering why I have everything dialed down as low as I do, like I said, I want this factory to be perfectly balanced so that when I fire it up, the automated wiring that I need a 100 for is done at the same time as the Versal framework and the smart plating. We'll be back in just a second. I need to go get some more stuff. Okay, we got some wire, so that should take care of this. And I've said it before, I'll say it again. I am currently playing in 1.2. However, I'm going to do this series assuming that I'm still on 1.1. So no daisy chaining, no spawn, no fluid trucks, none of the new stuff that's coming in 1.2. Because, whereas, yes, I may have access to it because I'm a PC player, you might be on console. You might literally not have access to the experimental branch. So, until it goes fully live and everyone has access to it, I'm not going to use it in this playthrough. I mean, I'll still be in 1.2 because I'm way too lazy to go through and downgrade between episodes. And I'll own that. I got no problem saying I'm lazy. It's a widely known fact. We're just going to hook up all my power wires real quick. And I am a huge proponent of hooking up my power systems from the miner to the smelter to the first step to the next step and letting them fill each way. Like, I want a lot of iron ingots to come out. I want this belt to be saturated. I want the steel ingots. I want the iron ingots to be saturated before I move to the next stage. Anytime you build a manifold system like what I'm currently building, you will deal with manifold buffering issues. And that's not like your YouTube buffering. That's not like your other website buffering. To a point it is. But basically what it means is I want these machines to completely fill up before I turn them on. I'm really, really, really hoping my power grid can handle this. Because I know my power grid ain't very robust in this playthrough. We'll get there. We will get there. I promise. I swear we will get there. But for right now, we have 600 megawatts total to play with. So that's kind of sad. And I'm just putting these power poles in between two constructors and moving down to the next two. I am probably going to try to do this playthrough with as little power as possible, because if you don't need a million megawatts, what's the point of making a million megawatts short of saying, I could, I did? I'm noticing that there's a lot of these I did not hook up properly, which is fine. It's why you go back through. You double check your work. Because there's always some stupid belt that you forgot that ends up throwing everything out of whack. See, like right now, that's a Mark II, that's Mark, okay. We're just gonna make these Mark IIIs, not because they need to be Mark IIIs, but because I have the stuff to make them Mark IIIs. And that will get those all filling up. We're still waiting. We're waiting for more coal. That's a Mark II. That's a Mark I. See, this is why you double check your work, and you realize that I am kind of stupid, because I never hooked up these belts for coal. Again, it happens. I'd rather make the mistakes on recording so you can see that, this stuff happens. Now that we have a bunch of copper ingots here, we can start with the next two steps. So I'm just going to go ahead and go through and hook up all the power wires for this. This should all power up nicely. It's going to take a little while for the manifolds to fill up, but that's one of the drawbacks of manifolds. But they're getting there. And that's half of it right there. Just getting to this point where you have the power to do this. You have the infrastructure that's set up to do this. We'll pop over here, pop this down, and hook up these two. Jump over, grab the power wire, jump over again. Get this last one powered up. And we'll just run power wires all the way down here. Easy, right? Power wire is kind of the easiest thing. But oh god, I will tell you right now, daisy chaining in 1.2, yes, thank you, please. It is so nice. It is so nice not to have to put up 8 billion power poles. Alright. So this whole factory should be powered up. I'm going to run through and just double check that I don't see any red lights. Because this is not Roxanne's house. You do not have to put on the red light. Somebody gets that horrible reference, but... And it looks like everything is golden. So we're going to go do one more little thing. So I will be back in just a moment to show you one final little trick. Okay, we get out of the water and we're back down here to the new factory, which obviously my power grid has not blown, so that's a positive. Max consumption is well above what I can actually support, but that's fine. Worst case, if we get that high, the biomass burners kick back on. That's why I still have them. Next episode, we will be upgrading the power production a little bit. And by a little bit, I mean doubling it. But one thing I want to do, and I'm just going to build a lot of foundations over here because what I'm going to put down is, it's large. Because one thing that I was not aware of when I very first started playing this game is the space elevator can be torn down. It can be moved. I don't want to cover up this limestone node, so I'm being kind of careful about where I put this. And I do realize that my foundations are not actually large enough for this just yet. That's fine. That's why we have the H trick. For anybody not familiar with it, if you have a structure that says the surface is uneven, there's a very real chance that you can just press H or whatever your lock hologram button is, and it'll just let you build it. But we're just going to move the space elevator down here. We have the limestone nodes still available. We have our terminal. Why in the world did I move the space elevator down here? Well, this is literally a space elevator factory. I'm going to put down a couple bins because you guys know me. I love my bins. Not going to put down those bins because I don't have the materials for them. Ooh, shit. I do love my bins. I'm trying to think of how to do this. I want them really close to the space elevator. But at the same time, if you notice, the space elevator is kind of a butthead, and its ports are really close together. Alright, maybe this will work. Yeah, there we go. It says it's clipping, but I don't see any clipping here. And we just need to get these parts. That's why we have elevate. That's why we have conveyor lifts, right? Yes. The magic of conveyor lifts. Believe it or not, they haven't always been in the game. There was literally an update just to add conveyor lifts into the game. If you're wondering why I'm putting the bins down, is once this thing consumes what it needs, it's not going to take any more of these. However, every single space elevator part you make is used later. The smart plating is used in phase 3, but not as smart plating. The versatile framework is used in phase 3, but not as versatile framework. The automated wiring is used in phase 3, but not as automated wiring. Every space elevator part is used again in some way in the next phase. They just become more complicated. Right now, phase 2 space elevator parts are kind of very, 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 very simple parts. They're going to get more complicated. But this factory is set up to make 4 versatile framework every single minute, 4 smart plating every single minute, and 0.4 automated wiring. The reason why I have it balanced like that is because you need 1,000 smart plating, 1,000 versatile framework, but only 100 automated wiring. So the automated wiring needs to be made at about a tenth of the speed. So 0.4. But that's a completely automated, no touch, phase 2 factory using only one normal coal node. One any copper node. It could be an impure. I'm literally using 9.6 copper per minute. And one pure iron node with a Mark II miner. 240 iron. So you could do this with a normal node and overclocking on your Mark II miner. But like I said, that's done. This is going to take about 5 hours to actually complete phase 2 for me. I don't have to do anything. Phase 2 is done in 5 hours. I can just walk away, go watch a couple movies or whatever. However, we've got more work to do in the next episode. Because if you're familiar with when you're actually in phase 2, when you're working on phase 3, you unlock oil. Well, basically everything on the oil tree takes motors. We don't have motors automated yet. We need to fix that. So we're going to make a motor factory next episode without any alternate recipes. And we're going to blow some stuff up too. If you've enjoyed the content, please remember to smack the like button. If you're new here, smack the subscribe button. It's free for you, helps me out a great deal. Lets YouTube know that they need to send me a nicely worded letter telling me I've been a good boy. And until next time, I've been an Idjit. Obviously.